Okay, so for years, we've all watched the South Florida housing market just climb.
Right.
Almost impossibly high.
Absolutely. Out of reach for so many.
But today, we're looking at some really interesting intelligence. It suggests there might be a real opening for buyers now. And this crucial info comes from andresvieira and rauldiaz, team leaders over at Miami Real Group. They're seeing a pretty clear shift.
Yeah, it's like a perfect storm brewing, maybe, for affordability anyway, at least for a little while.
Perfect storm. How so?
Well, you've got three big things happening. Interest rates are falling. Inventory, finally, is actually rising.
Okay.
And maybe the most important part, sellers are, agreeing to close for less than their asking price.
Less than asking. That hasn't been the norm, has it?
Not at all. It's definitely not the market we've gotten used to over the last 5 years or so.
Right. And that shift, that's why this really matters right now for you listening. We often hear, as per Andres Vieira, Miami is the best place on earth.
He does say that, yes.
But maybe for the first time in quite a while, the actual market conditions, they seem to be lining up to maybe support that claim for people trying to buy a home here.
Let's dig into the numbers a bit. Realtor Justin Brooks, he's reporting inventory is up roughly 13%.
13%, wow.
Yeah, across the board. But here's the kicker, I think. Sellers are getting about 5% less on average than what they first listed for.
Okay, 5% less. That's not just a small discount, is it? That feels like a real signal.
Exactly. It signals maybe some seller anxiety. It tells you pretty clearly where the power might be shifting right now towards the buyer.
A 5% haircut for the seller. That is significant. But wait, even with that, didn't the data show the average sale price was still up slightly, like $584,000 back in August, up 3.5% from last year?
It was, yeah.
So is it really a buyer's market if prices are technically still going up, or is it just less intense than it was?
Well, I think that's the definition of a rebalancing market, right? Yeah. The appreciation is much slower, minimal almost. And you couple that slower appreciation with those seller concessions, that 5%, and that's what creates this kind of rare window. Maybe equilibrium is too strong a word, but it's closer.
And the interest rates are key to that window opening.
Absolutely the key. Rates settling down around, say, 6.5%. That seems to be the magic number that's bringing a whole wave of sideline buyers back into the game.
That reminds me of the story about Jason Collier up in Broward. He was completely priced out before, right? The monthly payments with those higher rates were just impossible for him.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, with rates just softening a bit, even fractionally, suddenly he's thinking, okay, maybe now. He's back looking.
And he's definitely not the only one. If you look at the bigger picture, the projections are pretty staggering. We could be looking at maybe 1, even 2 million buyers potentially re-entering the South Florida market just because of these rate drops.
1 to 2 million. Wow.
That latent demand, that's the ticking clock you need to hear in the background.
Okay. 1 to 2 million people potentially jumping back in. That explains why, even with these buyer-friendly signs, pending sales were still up. Wasn't it nearly 10% in August compared to last year?
Right. People are seeing this little window, this chance, and they're moving fast. They don't want to miss it.
So that leads to the strategy part, the warning almost. Brooks seemed to emphasize that buyers might need to act pretty quickly.
He did. That moment where you see concessions where bidding isn't quite as frantic, that could disappear really fast once those 1 or 2 million buyers really start making offers again. We could be back to multiple offers, over asking bids.
Before we know it.
Exactly. So if you're serious about buying, getting prepared now is everything.
So, okay, beyond just locking in a rate if you can, what's the immediate practical step for you, the listener?
Check your eligibility right now for any government programs you might qualify for. Things like Hometown Heroes, Florida Assist. They can make a real difference with down payments or closing costs.
Good point. Stack the deck in your favor while you can.
Precisely. While the leverage is, tilted your way even slightly, grab every advantage. Because this specific opportunity, it feels pretty fragile. I don't think it's going to last.
Okay, so let's sum this up. South Florida right now seems to be offering this kind of temporary, delicate balance. A bit more affordability, a bit more opportunity than we've seen in years.
Thanks to that rising inventory and the slightly lower rates.
But, and this is the big but, It's fragile because there's this huge wave of potential buyers waiting in the wings, that 1 to 2 million figure.
Right. Which leads to the question you really need to ask yourself.
What's that?
How much longer does this window actually stay open? This period of growing inventory and seller concessions? How long before that sheer volume of re-entering buyers just slams it shut and pushes the leverage firmly back to the sellers?
That is the question. Food for thought.
Definitely.
And we absolutely need to thank Andresvieira and Rauldiaz from Miami Real Group again. This whole analysis was really based on the crucial intelligence they provided.
Yes, essential information for understanding this shift.